A lot has changed in the 2 years since I've been here, along with Mark Larkin, who's my partner in crime here. And we came in and basically rebuilt the foundation, the back end, the technical back end, and then we set about on a course to really kind of engage with the broadcast side so that we could have more of a kind of seamless single newsroom in which, whether it's broadcast, whether it's web, whether it's radio, we're all working together to produce the news and give people two kinds of news. One, news that people want, which is to a large degree popular culture, and the news that people need to be informed citizens. And I think if we have a good mix of those two things, we've been able to bring in an audience and really leverage and harness the content and resources we have at CBS News. Part of what we've done is to start some new shows, which are just like regular TV shows, it's just they're distributed on the internet. For example, at Katie Couric, where she interviews newsmakers, and that's been very successful, ranging from Drake to, in this past week, talking to billionaires, talking about giving away their money. In addition, we have a daily political show called Washington Unplugged that's hosted by people like Bob Schieffer, John Dickerson, Nancy Cordes, a lot of our talent. And we have a number of other kind of web programs that we do with, for example, The Early Show at Sunday morning. So it's a way to take all the existing talent and resources, and especially the video that we have at CBS News, and really get it out into the world because it's unique, it's differentiated, and does give us a way to stand out from the crowd.
Now, historically, you guys haven't had a big destination site. How have you managed to surface this video to drive traffic?
A lot of it's just in making sure that we can extend it out in different ways, which is, yes, we are a destination, and our destination has grown. We probably doubled in size over the last year. But it's important also to distribute, which is whether it's mobile or social or even podcasts, we want to make sure that we are getting our content to people anytime, any place, anywhere, and on the devices of their choice.
Tell us about some of the live strategy you're doing.
Well, we've developed a strategy, as you said, around kind of live events, and we have a live player where it has chat and Twitter and all those other things. And so for almost any event, whether it's a State of the Union or our Backstage Live show, which we do on Saturday mornings with our early show, as well as a number of events that happen throughout the day and week, we want to have this live, but it's also on demand. We want to make sure that we are both live and on demand, which is to say there are many people that are at work and they have an opportunity to tune into whether it's the president's press conference or something going on in Haiti, any kind of news event that we think people would be interested in. Then we can take that content and also put it on demand or chop it up into clips. In addition, we have sometimes we'll even live broadcast our newscasts, depending on, for example, during the elections, a lot of live content. For example, we streamed a live show from 9 until 10 o'clock. The network took over at 10 o'clock. Then we did another web show from 11 o'clock on. Then the network comes back on at 1 o'clock. So it's really seamless between whether it's the broadcast or the web. It's just all content that's being distributed on television, on the internet, same content. Well, as you know, the news cycle is relentless, especially with 24/7 and so many things to cover and so many distribution points, so that you've got to be Twittering, you've got to be on Facebook. And let me just give you one example. Just recently on 60 Minutes, we had an interview with the new Speaker of the House, or what we're calling now the Weeper of the House, John Boehner. And so we had special clips that we did on our unique web show called 60 Minutes Overtime. We had the 13-minute episode, and we had some special cut-up clips from that. And all of that, not just on our website, but distributed on YouTube, distributed on all the various places so that people have easy access for it. So it's no longer where you can bring everybody into your tent. It's much more about making sure that you're placing your content and intersecting with people in the way that they want.
Tell us about Twitter, Facebook, some of the success you've had, how that's working for your organization.
Twitter, I think we have about 1.6 million Twitter followers for the CBS News account, but we also have accounts for other shows that we have, as well as for a lot of our talent. So it's been very important for us to extend our audience, to reach new people, and also to communicate about what we're doing. And as you know, many people look to Twitter now as as their live news stream, a news feed. And so we're making sure that all of the content we think is relevant to our followers is in there, as well as finding things for ourselves that we can retweet and point people to. The last year's been definitely a year of growth for us, and I think for many other sites. As you know, the use of the internet is going up. I think it's now equal with television. We're seeing the use of Facebook and Twitter and other social media on the rise, so it's very natural. But I think we've seen a rise probably ahead of the rest of the market. I think the market grew about, I think in November the market for news grew about 13% online, and we were somewhere around 36%. So we're seeing faster growth, but I think that's just people finding unique and great content that we produce.
And how has devices changed consumption?
There's a couple of points to these new devices. One is our content works well on those devices without much changes in terms of our mobile applications or just browsing the website on the iPad. But as we're seeing now, the next wave for content is thinking not about web pages, but about applications. That you're creating an application, and within there, people can navigate in easier ways and discover things, such as you've seen with like Flipboard. And our iPad application has lots of swiping and all those nice features, but we're just at the beginning of this. So far, it's still a fairly nascent market, and we have a lot to learn about how to build these applications and how to make sure that we're constantly building, which requires a significant investment.
What is the evolving role of the web versus these apps in the future, as far as you could tell?
Those applications or websites still run over the internet. So I look at it as, when somebody says the web is dead, I'm not sure what they mean. Does that mean the internet is dead? Of course not. And the web is not even close to being dead. I think people are just trying to come up with good headlines. I think it's more that we have an evolving web or an evolving internet in which the technology is improving in such a way that it's faster, it's smarter, it's smaller, all of those things that allow us to have to recreate how information is distributed and how we build around the information so that people can access it more easily, as well as share it.
How important is search versus discoverability in terms of consumption and finding new people? I mean, new consumers of your product.
Well, that's probably the most important thing we focus on, which is a lot of people find us through search, which is common for almost every site. So I think the challenge is how do you convert those drifters or those people finding you through search into more regular users? And I think that's something we're really going to be focusing on next year.
Is YouTube still important for you guys now that you've grown so much on your own?
YouTube is important just as Twitter and Facebook and our website are, which is there are more people congregating at YouTube or at Facebook than on our site. So let's just make sure that we're there. And in fact, 2 of the top 10 videos of the year on YouTube were CBS News videos.
Americans who watched 60 Minutes last night saw a side of their new speaker that's familiar to those on Capitol Hill.
And I think at the top of our list is providing for the safety and security of the American people.
He cries.
No, my nose is running.
No, it's not.